Wow, this is great. Finally get outside and to test some kit. It's been a long time coming and so excited, to be honest. I feel like an animal that's been trapped for too long, you know what I mean? But today the weather's glorious. I'm back at my training area, for want of a better expression. It's been a long time, but since I've been away, things have changed around there. I'll show you in a sec. But this video is all about testing some kit I've been carrying for a couple of years but I've never actually tried. Predominantly going into my get home bag, and we're going to see how it actually fares up, because I'm just getting concerned that carrying this kit and having to use it one day and just don't get on with it. So I'm going to try it. The temperature is predicted to be around 0 to minus a few degrees, so it's ideal conditions to test the bits of kit that I'm going to be featuring. So let me just show you what's been happening to my training area since I've been away. Unbelievable, really. Well, it all seems normal, and I thought, oh, okay, I think kids have been mucking around, so they've turned it into a blooming play area. And also I suspect some amateur bushcrafters, youngsters, have been around as well. Now, I'm not knocking anyone who wants to get out and learn. No problem at all. I've got no problems anyone coming to where I go. I mean, it's a free world, you know. But I do get pissed when people don't clear up after themselves. That's just a disgrace. And it looks like they've been trying to build some sort of shelter. Pretty piss poor attempt, if I'm honest. So I'm going to make use of this flat piece of ground because it's the only piece of ground that is level around here. I'm just going to, that's just a joke, I don't know why they built that for. But these big logs, I've got plans for those, so they might have done me a favour. Right, let's get this pack off. Oh, incidentally, this is a new pack I'm trialling out as well, so I'm going to give you the lowdown on this soon. Here it is, and I'm quite chuffed already. It's so comfortable, it's crazy. Previously, on a few videos ago, I'd done my pretty much a quick loadout of my Hazard 4 patrol pack as my get home bag, and no problem with that, it's fine, it's a nice bit of kit. But I thought, if I was to try to get something which I can swap and mix around with my other, it's a proper bug out bag, and that is by Berghaus as well as this. And incidentally, these pockets and stuff all switch over and it's all interlinkable. So I thought, well, I'd at least get one and try it to see how it goes. And if it does work out better than the black one, I might just have this as my go-to get home bag, as it were. It's fantastic. It's a 30-litre main compartment in the middle with 10-litre pockets on either side. And I've just love it. It's so bloody comfortable. It really, really is. And it's pretty much just like the Cyclops. It's exactly the same design. So we're just going to flip around. Let's show you what the back carry looks like. These are so frigging comfortable, it's beyond belief. Look how thick they are. And already the walk in, it's only been like about a mile and a half. It's nothing really, but you hardly know you're wearing anything, you know. It's spot on. So I'm so looking forward to trialing this over a couple of months, and if I'm getting on with it, then I'm probably going to use this as my my go-to bag. But first impressions, bloody fantastic. Right, first things first, SOP, standard operating procedure. If you're going to be doing the shelter, the first thing you want to do is protect your hands. So first thing to do is get some gloves on, good idea. And also, a nice little tip is always make sure you've got a small little torch tethered to your top, because if you do have to set up in the dark, it's always there, you're never going to lose it. Make sure you check the batteries every once in a while. Winter time, check them more regularly because batteries don't like cold. First item out of the box, first aid kit, and I'll keep that in a plastic bag. Now everything is in a dry bag in here, but it's quicker for me to just remove that as one unit, so I don't want to get that wet. So that's sealed up in a Ziploc bag. some food from America. I'm going to be trying them out later on. Now, as I mentioned before, everything is in a dry sack. Very important. But the forecast in the UK, it changes so often. Your best bet is to plan for rain. Then when it does come, you're not going to be, oh no, I haven't got any wet weather gear. Everything's watertight, yeah? So, a few items that we need to get out is the gloves. As I say, once I get the gloves out, we can start getting the all this wood sorted out and the shelter fixed. So, make sure everything, you double check that it's all in waterproof containers. This happens to be made by Seal Line. They supply US Marines in the States. It's a good bit of kit actually. I've tried this quite a while now, and I'm going to be using it as a pillow too later on. So, gloves. Now, some of you guys who follow me on Instagram already see all this stuff, but for you, the YouTube guys, these I've had since before Christmas. Never really used them. Hence, this video is all about trying new kit. There's lots of equipment that I've researched and I've purchased myself, and I'm dying to try all of the kit for myself to know if it's suitable or not. I mean, there's nothing worse than just carrying around for ages, and then when you need it, it's either too tight, too small, it rips, it tears, whatever. These happens to be Swedish military tactical gloves. I know it sounds all posh and fancy and stuff, but you've got really good, adequate protection over the front of the hand area. And you've got the soft dexterity of calf's leather. So we're going to be trying those out to see how we get on. And they seem of that sort of wetsuit material, stretchable and water resistant. So let's see how we actually get on with this new pair of gloves, shall we? Yeah, no splinters are getting through, it's a good start. It's always worth checking, you know. It really, really is. You don't want to get unnecessary injuries in a place like this. Not a good idea. Should probably be okay for forward because it's off the ground. So yeah. Incidentally, it's not as thick as what I was hoping to use, but seeing that it's right on my doorstep, it'd be a shame to just ignore it really. So it's not ideal, but it's going to have to do. Right, now this is the first time I've ever used this tool. I saw this a long time ago by a guy from Japan called Waco, and also I've seen my good friend in Moscow, Lars, Survival Russia, formerly Moscow Prepper. Right mate, the silky big boy. Now the reason I chose this is because you can fit it in any backpack, and what you get is just quality. Now that will help in a pretty dire situation to get things done quickly. You know, I think this is personal, don't knock me, but I think the days of the little backhoe Laplander are coming to an end now that these guys are really making a footprint. There's so much better made. They're more expensive, of course, but you do get what you pay for. Now on this model, the big boy has extra large teeth, and I chose an orange handle because if you did get black or green or brown and you dropped it and in a hurry you couldn't find it, that's crazy. So let's have a quick look at the teeth on this because they look very, very serious indeed. Wow, look at this. That looks pretty devastating, right? So I'm dying to see how this actually fares. Incidentally, this mechanism here, if you are sawing anything close to the ground, you can lock that and move the blade upwards. So what that in fact does is it stops your knuckles going along the floor. So that's a great little idea, I do like that. And it just locks back, nice and simple. So let's see how she actually fares. I'll set it on the lock back position because I'm near the ground. Right, with a bit of practice I think this could work out a very useful tool. It clears very well.
It really is a nice piece of kit.
Right, I am facing north-northwest. That is where the predominant winds are coming from. So obviously I want to be protected by that. So my plan is that tree there, and that one there is going to be the front of my shelter, and that log on the floor is going to be the very front of the shelter. So from that point on backwards is where my bash is going to be. So that leaves all of this space in front. Now those two logs which I've just sawed up ready there, they're roughly 6 foot around the length of my body. So the plan is just to stack them one on top of each other in front of my shelter to give me the warmth. Now obviously my shelter isn't wool, it's just synthetic nylon, so that can easily get a spark and damage it. So it really is a trade-off of how far away I actually put it. So I'm just going to be doing some guesswork. I'm not really sure. I'm probably thinking around 3 feet away from the front entrance of my lean-to shelter. Now I am absolutely itching to use this. I've never ever used it. I've not even used it to cut paper. I've done nothing to it. I haven't stropped it. I haven't done anything. It's just literally straight out of the box. It stayed in its sheath and it stayed in my get home bag for well over 6 months. Now I've taken it out on the previous 2 overnight camps I done, never used it. So we're lucky that the weather's nice and fair so we can get some good quality filming done, because I'm so used to use I can't wait to use this. I'm getting tongue tied. Now for those of you who don't know what this is by Tops Knives, a very high quality knife manufacturer in America, and it is the Bushcrafter Cookery 7, designed by Nicholas Fury himself. And here it is, Nick. I'm going to be totally honest in my reports on this. I'm not going to make anything up. This is a genuine test. I've just put a hand lanyard on there. I always do for safety, because the last thing you want is that flying out of your hand going into your mate or yourself, because that edge on there, it looks and feels very sharp. So we've got to be very careful. Nice safety at all times. And I've just sawed some small branches, as we see here. And all I'm going to be doing initially is to point these ends so I can make some stakes to secure the 2 main fuel sources of logs for my long night fire. Right, okay, let's see how we get on with this new knife. Now, as I say, this is no bullshit. This is the first time I'm going to be using this. So let's see how we get on. Now, it's always a good idea, if you are doing chopping, get a good solid base. Make sure all of your important veins and arteries are out of the way, and because we're chopping, I'm going to go back to the knife towards the end of it. There we go. Alright, let's see. The first chop on YouTube of the Bushcrafter Cookery 7. Yeah, I'm liking this. It's a completely different blade profile. It's going to take some getting used to, because it's pointing downwards and I've got no other knives to do that, apart from a cookery, of course, the genuine one. Wow, it's just flying through this. That's amazing, look at that. Yeah, keep going a bit and I think we'll be getting there. Wow, oh, I like this, very happy. It's nice and sharp. Yeah. Well, I'm going to crack on and do the other 4, but straight away I'm looking forward to using this, I really am. That's nice. Wow, if you do some decent swings, that's devastating, man. Christ. Oh, this is fun. Well, to find a knife that actually does what it says on the tin. God, it's going through that like nothing else. That's insane. Well, as a dry run, I needed to put it down just to see if it actually all laid how I wanted it to. It's by no means finished. So, what we need to do is to determine what way the logs are going to rest in its natural state as possible without any securing aid. So what I'm going to be doing is find out what side lies best, and then with these two I'm going to paracord them together to keep those tight, because we don't want one of them moving out, especially that way, and rolling towards me. And the same with this end too. Exactly the same principle. So once I've determined what is the top and what is the bottom of each log, more preparation is needed. Right, I'm quite happy with how the logs are positioned at the moment. So what I need to do is to process that area on the bottom and that area on the top. Now all we're going to be doing is we're just going to be cutting pretty much a straight line all the way down the length of the log. So they're flat on one side facing each other, and what we're going to do is we're going to build up loads of tinder and dry material in between as a sandwich, but keeping this top log off of the bottom one. Now I've purposely cut this one longer than the bottom one so I can put supports underneath to keep it up, to give the important airflow on the initial phase of the fire, so it all catches. When it all catches and it's proper established, I can take the support down, lower it down, so these two logs are actually touching each other. Theoretically the fire should burn for around 10-12 hours. So now I know which side it is, I'm going to mark off and start processing. Incidentally, I've got my tough ground sheet there, and when I'm going to be doing all this, I'm going to be doing it on top of this, so I'm going to be catching all of the chippings to add to the fire lay. So we're not wasting anything and we're not leaving traces all over the place. So that's the idea behind getting the ground sheet out now ready. Now all we're going to be doing is going the same direction like that all the way along. Turn around and come back the other side, so you're going to end up with a flattish area, which has also been, it's going to get roughed up with some deep grooves in like this to actually bite into the fire, to heat it up and to ignite it. It just all helps, as most things with fire. The most important thing is preparation. You really shouldn't skimp if you can. Just put the effort in. Once everything's done correctly and you do make all the effort, theoretically you should have a pretty much fail-safe fire, which is the name of the game. Well, I'll tell you this much, having the ground sheet is brilliant because it enables you to get down like this and to just chop away. Now what I've come to realise in doing this for the first time, it's not big, it's not clever to do this as hard and as fast as you can. You will tire, you could possibly make a mistake and cause a serious injury, and it's far more easier to do it nice and relaxed and controlled without expelling too much energy, and making sure every chop pretty much goes more or less where you want it, rather than just smacking away, and then it's dangerous. Just please don't do it if you are going to try this. So it's a lot easier to just slowly chop away. Now all you're trying to do in theory is to make this flat, and also to put in some grooves to bite into the wood like that. So as I say, you haven't got to really smack like that all the time, because you're just going to knack yourself out. And you could miss, you could hit your hand. If you haven't got a hand under, that could fly out and that could do all sorts of silly stuff. So just take it easy, yeah, and just chop away. As I say, there's no rush. We're pretty much almost done with this, and in fairness, it's probably taken about half an hour just to do this log up to this point. So you're looking at an hour to do both logs without knackering yourself out or causing injury. And the most important thing is to conserve calories. It's a lot more beneficial if you try to stick by those simple rules, really. And also, there's so much chippings that's been collected on the ground sheet rather than just get wasted onto the wet floor. And it is a wet floor. We've had a lot of rain recently and everything is sodden wet. So I've done quite well to find some dry wood. You know, once you know what you're looking for and you see it hanging around, you know, just take it. It's all good. Well, so far the blade is holding up very well. I can't believe there's not one single chip in there. I've really given it some welly through that knot at the end to try and flatten it out. And it's no rolls, chips. It's sweet as a nut, it really is. And so are the gloves. You know, rubbing your hands down really hard and fast against that log that's got tons of sharp jagged edges due to damage with this, they're brilliant. Look at that, it's like brand new again. The curve on there, you can, I mean, this is naturally, look at that. It's just perfect for this. Wow. I suppose it makes sense, doesn't it? When you're dealing with rounded materials, it's probably a good idea to make the blade rounded as well. Spot on. And I know it's easy to sharpen straight blades, but it's the same as everything, you know. If you put the effort in and you take some time to practice, you can sharpen anything. No excuses. So, so far, it's a nice bit of kit from me. Well, we're going good. Time for a little break, because when the sun comes out, it's just absolutely beautiful. Time to pause and reflect. It really is nice to make the most of this sort of stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, the place transforms when the sun comes out. It's stunning. What a nice place to practice some bushcraft, eh? Well, I'll tell you this much. It's nice to get some exercise done outdoors, you know. You know, when you get cooped up at work or in the house and the rain's coming down, it's just miserable. This is lovely. Right, time for a break. This was sent to me along with a Canadian ration pack, which is very cool, from a good buddy over in Canada. Now please forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong. I haven't said it on camera yet because I'm just really not sure. Paul Buikema or Buikema, I'm not sure. I'll probably stand corrected, but he sent me something called soldier fuel. Now, do you know what? That's pretty much just what I need right now. I've never tried one before, so it's a good idea to you know, keep your energy levels topped up, because if you don't, especially if you don't drink enough fluids and water whilst doing stuff like this, we've all done it. We can't deny it. We've all just cracked on, done loads of work, and when you consider you're looking at drinking minimum 1.5 to 2 litres of water every day, and at the end of the day, you know, as it gets dark, you've probably managed to drink just under 1 litre. It's not good. So it's a good idea just to chill out, relax, and top up your energy levels with some food and drink, and kick back and take in the vibe, you know. Cool. That's like bloody frozen. Yeah, I'm going to have to... Crikey, Paul! It is cold out here. That's nice. It's like a chewy, chocolatey, crunchy bits of biscuit for it. That'll work. Thank you, mate. Yeah, the inspiration for this video really was two people. Now, the first person was Lars, Moscow Prepper, who's changed his channel to Survival Russia, and the guy's going places now. It's taken a whole new level. His videos are getting really good. Not to say that they weren't, they're always good. Brilliant. Now, they're becoming polished. Really nice. Good to see, Lars. Keep it up, my friend. The videos are turning out really well. Now, it's lovely. I saw a video from Lars probably over a year ago now, and he calls it a survival fire. It's incredible. I've never seen one before. Yeah, because we're always learning, no one knows it all. And I'm a subscriber to Lars's channel anyway, so when this one popped up, I saw it for the first time and I'm thinking, wow, that makes a whole lot of sense. The scenario is, you're walking all day, you've probably got about 2 or 3 hours before it gets dark and it gets very, very cold. Now, if you're walking all day, you're going to expend a lot of energy. So the last thing you want to do is to stay awake all night, keep the fire going, and not getting enough correct sleep, because sleep in the woods and survival stuff is very, very important. If you can get by minimum 2 to 3 hours a night, you're doing well. So, to make a fire, you light it once and leave it, and it's going to go for 8, 10, 12 hours, depending on the size of logs you use. It's amazing. Now, I've watched this video probably about 6 times. It's in 2 parts. It's an amazing watch. It taught me everything. In fact, all of the ideas for this fire has come from Lars's video, so check the video out. It's brilliant. It taught me a lot. So it's going to be the first time for me. Now, looking at the grain structure of this timber that I found, I wasn't really sure what it was. Most of the woods in here is beech, some birch as well, but from being into knives and scales and stuff, now I've got a feeling this is spalted birch. I'll give you a close-up if I remember in a minute, and you can probably verify that for us. But it seems a shame to burn it because it's beautiful. The colours and the structure of it is just incredible. It'll make a great handle or a scale for any knife. So that's the fire out of the way, and Moscow Prepper. The second person is my dear friend Mike, Armoured Cockroach, Roach as we all like to call him online. Now, he put me onto this idea a long time ago watching his videos. I think I've seen all of his videos now, right back in the early days when the video would only have like 5 comments. It's incredible because the information is very important, and there's no bells and whistles on it. It tells it to you how it is, nice and simple to understand. It's very good videos. Now, this one was a blizzard bag. So I thought, okay, most of us have got the little foil, silver foil survival blankets and stuff. You know, if you're really in trouble, you can wrap that around you, conserve your body heat, or start to raise it if you're becoming slightly hypothermic maybe, and to keep the wind out. So, to have a sleeping bag made of this material, but pretty much at the top end of quality of build. You know, you're not going to sleep in it once, it's going to get ruined and you throw it away. This one could last a few times. And from how I understand it, the Royal Marines in the Arctic Warfare Training School up in Norway use these bags. So you're talking very cold temperatures, plus wind chill, and the guys use these bags. So I thought, okay then, I'm going to look into this. And I did. I've done a lot of research before I ended up buying one. Now, I've carried the blizzard bag in my go bags, bug out bags, for around 2 or 3 years, and I've never used it, never even taken it out of its wrapper, which is one of the only items that I haven't tested. So, It's thanks to Mike Armour Cockroach for putting me onto the blizzard bag via his video, and I'm going to be sleeping in that tonight. Now the temperatures are predicted to be between 0 and 1 degrees Celsius, and that's in the nearest urban area. So as most of us know, when you go more to rural areas, the temperatures are a bit lower. So it's impossible to see what the temperatures are going to be. So I've got one of those little infrared cheap £8 thermometer things. So we're going to be testing the temperature in the bag, outside, in the shelter with the fire, just to see what really happens. Because I'm intrigued to know, you know. I don't want to see no well polished video. I want to see the truth and how this stuff actually works. So, thanks to those two guys for inspiring me to do this video, and looking forward to it. So far the weather's really held out for me, and couldn't have asked for a better gap in the window, you know, because yesterday all day hammering with rain. Tomorrow from noon I'm hoping to be squared up and away by then, heavy rain. So I've got a very, very small window of dry weather, predominantly to get this fire done and to film. Most of us know filming in the rain and trying to get a fire going, especially for the first time, it could make a crap video. And you know, I want to try and do my best for you guys, and for myself in future to look back and to recap, you know. So anyway, enough chit chat. I'm going to crack on with this little sticky bar and get back on to work. Well, you know, I said to you about the possibilities of spalted birch. Look at this, isn't it amazing? Pretty colours. Yeah, now that needs to be dried out and stabilised and hardened, and that would have made beautiful scale materials there. Incidentally, this is a nice tool for creating shavings. Look at that. Wow. In actual fact, I might do that to roughen up everything to catch easy, because that's beautiful. Yeah, I like that. Well, this is one of the only times that I tend to use a knife towards me, but obviously be very, very careful. Now I've got my ankles supporting the log, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold the top like this, just nice and safe, and using the curve with the log, we're going to try and flatten this out. Now obviously you go careful and you take your time. That's an amazing tool, I've got to say. The coating's holding up too. Yeah, very impressed. Well, I think it was a good idea to put the ground sheet down. It really has collected some chippings off of these logs. Now I think what I'll do is I'll fold all that up and put it into a bag and get that onto the logs later on. There's no point getting all of this sort of material and the kindling on at this stage. It is going to get a bit breezy, it's just going to get blown off. So you're probably looking at spending about 20 minutes, half an hour before you intend to actually light the fire, before you start laying all of the loose materials. Well, this is the basher I've been trialling. This is the second time I've used it, and I'm just blown away by the size and the weight of it. It's very, very light. As you can see, the size of it, you could probably fold that again. It's nothing really. And the best thing about this is the silver backing on there. So the idea is to just do a standard lean-to configuration with my shelter, and to use this to reflect some heat
back in from the log fire. Now, from experience of using this, albeit on a very, very small fire compared to this, there was a 4 degrees plus temperature range difference, with the reflective stuff, which really does back up the theory that it does work. It's not just an idea, it really does work. So we're going to get that set up now. Well, check this out. I've only just started to put it up, and one of the tie-outs, I believe they're called, just ripped straight off. Now this sort of, I don't mean to go on, but this sort of backs up my ideology. If you buy cheap stuff, try not to rely on it. If you do buy cheap stuff like this is only 15 quid or something, it's very, very inexpensive. You will have to reinforce the stitching because that's clearly inadequate. Although they have tried to reinforce the corner there, that wasn't really under a lot of tension, and it just pulled it straight out. So I think I'm gonna have to, I haven't got a sewing machine, so I'm gonna hand sew that. I've got some Kevlar thread, so I'm just gonna go to town and put some good quality pull-outs. Because I'm not giving up on this stuff, because you know, with that silver reflective and the light weight and the size, 3 meters by 2 meters, it's too good to just ignore. But if any of you guys are doing the same sort of thing, buying these cheap things from Thailand, just be aware that they do break very easily. So just giving a heads up of just telling the truth of how it is. So we're in the field, we've got a bit of a problem. What we're going to do to get around it. Now, you don't really need to put a hole through there, whether you melt it through there and a tent peg. It might work, but if you get some winds, it's more likely to just rip. And you know, if this goes down during the night and you've got bad weather, you could be in trouble just by taking a silly little shortcut. Now, just found a little stone, a little pebble, just looks like a little snapped off bit of flint. Perfect for the job. Now, even though this is reinforced, you can still get away with it. In fact, it's probably better for the material. Now, all I've done is I just put it roughly in the middle, and I'm just going to go around it like that. Now, it's probably about 12 inches, 18 inches of paracord. All I'm going to do is wrap it around the stone that's in there and just tie it off. Now all this is going to do is just give me an option to actually anchor the basher to the floor, or if you wanted to, you could just lay a log in it, but I'm going to see how I'll get on doing it this way. Now, it's not easy because I cut myself at work on some metalwork yesterday, just in time. So yeah, it's all good bloody testing ready. See how we get on. So we've got a rock solid reef knot on there. It's the only one I know really. And there we have it. So all I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to make a loop. See, all I've done is I've just folded it back, and I'm going to tie it around itself like so. So that's basically all it is to it. So hopefully that should get us out of our little jam if a similar thing happens later on. Well, the fire idea is ready. Under my basher, and it just started to rain. And it wasn't forecast. We're not due heavy rain until 1300 tomorrow, and it's 1700 now. And as you can probably hear in the background, some shots being fired. Now this is quite cool. Well, this is the latest addition to the family. This was kindly given to me by a real cool friend over in the States of K-Jumper 1. It's just a 511 molly pouch, and it just so happens that it's perfect for a pair of binoculars and my trusted companion, the Crusader cooking canteen mug, whatever you want to call it. It's my baby, and I'm never going to change this. It's just wicked. I've got about 2 or 3 Zebra Billy cans I've used like twice, and they're just sat on the shelf doing nothing. I mean, they're okay for communal stews and whatnot, but just for myself, this is everything. It's eating and drinking and cooking all in one, and it's probably one of my only pieces of kit which I will not change until something probably comes along better. But at the moment, I'm loving this. Hardcover as well. I know they're expensive. I did bite my lip when I bought this because it's a lot of money. But man, I'm so glad I did. That is just awesome. Right, I don't want to come across as a bit of a silly sod, but there are some people out there who have never done this before. Just a little tip to help people out. Now, what I find is best to get this into the small mug. Now, what I do personally is I go along the top and I just flatten it all down so it's nice and condensed, as it were. All right. Now, you push it all the way down, so all the food's down there and this is nothing up here. Now what I do is I fold that over, so we've got something like this. Now all you do is you just turn it around like a U shape like this. Now all that does is that will just fit in there pretty much perfectly. What you don't want is it all hanging at the top, because if you accidentally knock it and it goes over, oh, it's silly. So that's how I've been doing it, and it works every single time. Now, the reason I folded it flat along the top there is rather than tear open the top and eat it from there, you're going to be getting your spork right in there and all the food's going to be going up inside. It's no good. So what we're doing in this day and age is we're squashing all the food down here, so this is nothing. When it's cooked, we get our sharp knife, because you should always have a sharp knife, and you just cut all the way along there. Then you open it and it's a lot easier to eat that way. Your spork's not going to get drowned in all the food and be a mucky mess everywhere, and it's just a lot more convenient to eat that way. So that's the reason why I do it like that. Well, these side pouches of the BRECON, if you can see that little clip, that's a brilliant little idea. All that does is just make sure it's extra secure, so you're not going to get any naughty stuff in there that you don't want. Now, what I like to do is to get some proper immersion dry bags. Now, if you can see that, let's see if I can zoom in a bit. Obviously, British Army issue, hence the 99 code in the middle of the MSN number. Right, so we got our little bag open there, and this is it's like a ripstop. It's just rubber, and man, is it bloody tough. It's perfect. So in my get home bag is my LIFESAVER water bottle. Just goes absolutely everywhere I go. Just can't rate these highly enough. So we're going to be getting some water now, because we've got no water at all with us, and we're just going to be filtering it from the local stream. Right, because we've got some nice boots, they can go in the water, it's not a problem. Right. All we do is we remove the base, set that aside, make sure that you've got the cap firmly on. You don't want any debris getting inside there. And all we do is we're just going to fill it up with lovely dirty water. And all we do is we just put the lid back on. And that pretty much is it. Right, we've just got our water from the stream, as we saw. Everything's nice and tight. Now all we're going to do is we're going to open this, and with clean hands you undo the mouthpiece. Now all we do is we just turn it back and pump away. And that, you can see, is perfectly clear and clean drinking water. It's all pressurised. It just keeps coming. So all we do is we just put in the amount we need. Now the best thing about this, you can actually drink it. You don't even have to boil it. Now we're talking some really bad water, so we've only got to do a little bit. So we close it up, keep it nice and clean out of the way. You only need just under half a mug of water, because when it starts to boil, if you put too much in there, it's just going to go everywhere. It's not good. Right, we've got the 442 dual Coleman stove. I've just primed it, all good. Now this is the lever you just turn around to change the pressure to turn it on. So what we're going to do is do that. Now of course it looks fierce and crazy at the moment, but all it's doing is it's going through the system. There you've got that tube along the top there. You're waiting for that to heat up. When that starts to heat up, the flames will turn nice and blue and clean. Then we're ready for cooking. There we go, didn't take long. We put that on the top there, keeping the handles away from the flame if you can. It just makes life a lot easier when you go to take it off the heat when it's ready. And also a cool idea is to have a reflector ready. It's just going to maximise the burn really. You don't want to be wasting too much fuel if you can help it. No, I'll have to get a new one of these because I lost one of them clips, or I have to do something about it. So that's where the wind's coming from. Should do the trick just nicely. Well, check it out. This hasn't been too long, but she's boiling away like crazy. You see what I mean about you don't have to fill it right up. I mean, that's probably the most you're going to be able to get in there water wise. Any more and man, it's just going to go everywhere. So you don't need to use a lot of water in these, and from putting it on there from cold water, that's probably been about between 2 and 3 minutes. It's rapid, and it really does help with the big heavy duty lid on. It just keeps that temperature in there, and yeah, if you want some food in a hurry, you need to get something like this. Hexi blocks and natural fire is great. The downside is you've got to gather the materials, it could take a long time, etc. This is very, very quick and simple, survival situations only, really. Right, I think that's long enough. So it's just been boiling for around 4 or 5 minutes. That's ample time. So she's done. We'll take her off the heat. Don't put her on the nylon, just in case it's too hot it'll melt it. God, you can half hear the peace and quiet now that stopped roaring. Now you want to be very, very careful with this. You keep this out of the way and don't go nowhere near it. Just let it cool down by itself. Now for the main event. Let's see how we do. Right, don't want to waste the hot water. Put the lid on, keep it out of the way next to the stove. Right, now we've got a lovely warm food, and I'll tell you what, my hands were getting quite cold, hence the thermal gloves, and having a good old rub around with this is like heaven. It's one of the best hand warmers in human history. Wow. So you're just giving the food a good mix up around, so we're doing a dual purpose thing here. Making sure everything's moved around and the same temperature. Now, as I said earlier, if you can just about see the crease there, we're just going to reimburse the same ideologies. Push that down. So, now we've got that there. I'll tell you what, most of the stuff's been done today, all with this knife. So, this is where the Bushcrafter Cookery 7 really loses its virginity. So we're going to see how we do. Wow, no problem at all. And yeah, the smell of the basher is instantly filled with the good old-fashioned all-day breakfast. Now we're losing light now, so I'm going to be getting this down me to keep warm and to get some energy. I'm going to strip off and put my base layers on, my long johns and my top, and start to layer up because the light is rapidly going. So once I get all that done,
just have a little square tidy around camp, and then I can get the fire going.
Now, here's a cool little tip that I always do with my head torch. Inside you can see the recessed markings of the polarities, the positive and the negative. Now, to make it stand out more, I just get a black permanent marker and just go over each one. So in low light conditions you can see them more clearly than just a recessed symbol. As a rule, I don't keep batteries in devices, especially if they're in long-term storage, as is my my get home bag. I keep them in these pretty cool little battery caddies. Now, I got these a long time ago, these Energizer Ultimate Lithium. They run until 2026, so it's going to be interesting to see how well these have fared. I've had these about a couple of years now, and it's pretty much been cold everywhere lately, so we're going to see how we get on. Now, which is quite cool doing this in the dark. Right, that's on. Let's see. Yep, no problem at all. Well, as you can see, been very busy. A lot of it is very precariously placed, so I've got a feeling a lot of it will fall off, but we're just going to have to roll with it. Now, I've just put a lot of fat wood that I've gathered, some pine cones, and I've found a downed ash that's been battened with the old cookery there, and some of the birch bark we collected earlier. So we're just going to hope it all catches. Birch bark, you've got to love it. Yeah, this is what I was thinking was going to happen, but hey ho, you can't win them all, right? Wow, look at that birch bark, look at that. That's cracking stuff. Already you can start to feel the heat from it already. Yeah, I think this is one of them things that you do have to baby quite a lot. Let's see. I need to catch this over here. Now, where's that? There's some birch bark, here we go. If I can drop that in there, I think we'll be okay. Stuff so flammable. Look at that, man, look at the oils on it. So once we've got a good temperature in there and a good steady burn, then it's time to lower the top log. It'll take quite a while, so we'll see how it's going a bit later on. Right, I think we've done okay.
I'll tell you what, it was worthwhile spending ages chopping up all this kindling, because you do need to put a hell of a lot on to get the heat in there, you know. And obviously the pine cones and the fat wood has really helped. Now you do have to be very careful, because it could easily collapse. You really do have to keep an eye on it. Now let's turn the torch off to see what she looks like in the dark. That's beautiful. Let's put the headlight off. It's definitely bush TV time. The temperature in front of this is beautiful. I could be in South Spain at the moment. And yeah, I'm going to wait for that to get properly established and I can lower it down. Then I'm going to go walk about and do some temperature checks with the thermometer, because I've got a feeling this is going to be a huge success right in front of the shelter. Well, it's taken quite a while to get the double log fire sort of established. It really is a massive case of babying it, to be honest. And you know, you really do have to have everything prepared and planned. So while that's carrying on doing its thing, time for something to eat. Now, as mentioned earlier, we're going to be eating some of this stuff all the way from the US of A. Backpacker's Pantry. Our chef, your adventure. Oh, nice one. So yeah, we're just cooking up 540 mils, give or take, of boiling water. Put it in the back and just stir it and leave it for 13 minutes. It's quite a while. So I should think there's going to be quite a lot of food in here. So it's going to be nice. Well, as you can see, it's nice and warm here. I think I should take some temperature readings, because it's noticeably different away from this setup. Well, here we are, the moment of truth. Let's see what all the let's see what all the hype is about. Sorry if it's too bright. Straight away I can see the oxygen absorber, so we need to take him out of there, don't we? Right. That's a lot of food in there. Well, the water's in. I'll tell you what, it smells really nice. So we're just going to seal that up and see if it's going to do its job. That's it. Nice and sealed. Come on, focus. There you go. It's totally puffed out, as it should. So we're just going to leave that be. Well, I've got to be honest. The fire was a nightmare. It really was. In actual fact, the kindling that I split with the cookery ran out. I mean, I'm sure I had enough, but my God, it really took some going. So I just had to go around scouting to get some more wood. But it paid off. There's loads of dead wood hanging around in the trees. You know, that's what it's here for. So take it, use it. Reignited the fire. Now it's lovely. You won't believe the temperature in here. Can you see that? 22 degrees C. In actual fact, it's hot wearing this hat. Must be doing something right. And we're what? 1, 2. We're probably about 4 feet from the fire where I am now. It's just wow. It really does work. What I might do is put this outside to see what it's like
Well, it's 23 now, it's going up. I'll put it outside to see what the temperature is out there. But at this rate, I'm not sure if I'm going to need the blizzard bag, but famous last words, eh? I probably would, because that ain't going to rage all the time, it's going to die down, but still keep warm. Incidentally, speaking of warm, this hat is Slovakian, and it's bloody brilliant. It really is. They're cheap as chips, they're only a couple of quid, and it's all like lined with wool inside. And just going out and about scouting for firewood earlier, oh, it's really cold. It's probably around 0. It's very cold. But hat is, my head is toastily warm. So yeah, it's actually working out pretty cool. Well, this is really nice, to be honest. I haven't added anything to it, just as it is, because I was curious, you know, to see what it's actually like. I'm not really a fan of cashew nuts, but you know, they're in there and they're protein, so they don't taste that bad. There's lots of chunks of chicken in there, and these guys are seriously giving Mountain House a run for their money. I'm not sure, I haven't got a clue how much it costs. I'm not even sure you can get them in the UK. But that stuff, oh, it's cooked perfectly. And there's so much of it too. Nice. Well, this is the life. That fire is gorgeous, and it's Monty time. Yep, good old Captain Monte Cristo. And I've got my new cigar clipper I got this Christmas. Man, that's just a razor. Every single cut now is perfect, you know what I mean? It's sweet. How it should be. Because I was struggling with the bloody cheaper one I've been putting up with for bloody years. But now, mate, clean as a whistle. So I could toast this on the fire, but to be honest, all of my skin would probably fall off. That's bloody hot. Seriously, I mean, man, I've had to move back because my legs, you know when your knees get really, really hot? Stupid, it's bloody, it's insane. Yeah, that'll do. That's me. Happy as Larry. After a lot of dicking around getting that fire how it is now, and believe you me, it's taken hours. This ain't no easy trick. You gotta have, ideally, you want 2 pieces of, well, 2 logs, pretty much the same circumference or diameter. Both of them has to be dry. Preferably not pine, because that will just burn quick and you'll get sparks everywhere. But that birch, it's been a bitch to burn. Actually, I think it's just very, very damp and wet. Living the dream, mate. It really is totally warm. I can't tell you how warm it is here. In fact, you know, these layers I've got on, I don't really need them. I haven't even got my smock on. So any of you guys who are thinking of trying the survival fire, as Lars says, by all means go for it, mate. It really does work, but my God, does it take some friggin' nannying, you know? You've really got to look after it. No bullshit. So yeah, I'm going to kick back with my cigar, as you should do, and got
got to tap up Captain Hennessy as well. Just going down to treat this. Man, it's good to be back. It really is. So, miniature Hennessy. How cool is that? I had it kicking around for years, never really considered using it. So for that size, you know, as a get home bag, rather than carrying the big hip flask, because this is expensive stuff. So something like this. Oh. Oh yeah. Oh, that's nectar. I'm not a big drinker, if I'm honest. A little tot of that stuff now and again, especially when you're out doing stuff like this with a cool cigar. Lovely fire on a go. The world is a beautiful place. Sorry, Mike. Couldn't help it. Don't leave home without your mobile phone or cell phone. Just had a couple of texts, as you do. Sometimes you get a signal out in the woods, sometimes you don't. On this occasion, I've had a text from Andy over at Global Knives and Dell at Dirty Room Knives. And what can I say? These two guys, brilliant. They're really, really spot on lads. And as it happens, they're both making a knife for me, which I really can't wait, you know. I don't know. Andy's had big problems with all sorts of stuff, and you know, the guy's keen up against it, you know. But I'm a firm believer in all that comes to you who waits, you know. And yeah, very special knife from Andy. That's going to be proper sentimental, bro, you know. And as with Dell, you know, the knife. Oh, man, I can't wait to have it in my hand, you know. Knives are good. Knives are good. Do you know I can sit in front of this fire forever? What is it about fires? It really transfixes you, doesn't it? Especially seeing a bloody 6 foot long one 4 feet from you trying to melt the skin off your kneecap.
Well, check that out. It's -1. That's probably about 30 feet away from where I'm currently residing. Because, I don't know if you can see, we're right by the stream. I'll tell you what, let's give it some, wow. Tell you what, these through night torches are friggin' awesome. You can see everything. Well, do you know what? I never would have been able to see this with the head torch. This is 6,500 lumens. And look at that, man, it's friggin' daytime out here. Bloody hell. This is nuts. Oh my god. And there's me over there.
This is very, very hot. Look at that. Can you see that? Yeah, straight up. It's just been sat here. 38 degrees. Not even on a bloody tent. Tell you what, these reflective bashes are spot on. You know, yeah, they're gonna need strengthening on the pull-outs, the tie-outs. But yeah, once you've got that sorted out, mate, they're worth getting. They really are. In fact, it's such a shame that the British
DPM basher wasn't silver lined on one side, that would be the ultimate basher, without a doubt. They would be up there with the best in the world because they're so strong. The DPM ones have never let me down, never leaked once, and they're strong enough to, you know, put a whole deer in there and just drag it around the place. They're that good. You probably wouldn't get away with dragging a deer around in this. It'll punch her quite easy. But, you know, that's where common sense comes in, and that's where the trade-off is. But yeah, one day, can you imagine that, a DPM basher with this silver line on the inside? Man, that would be too cool for school. So yeah, I'm just going to sit here sweating my little giblets off because it is freaking hot, man. I'm not mincing my words, it seriously is. I can't even wear that hat no more. So I think this long fire experiment has been a success. Now whether it burns throughout the whole night, I wouldn't have thought so. We've got just coming up to 2400 midnight. So yeah, that was lit around 5:30. So yeah, she's going strong. Wow. The scenario has now changed. Now, what you're looking at now is an adaptation of my heating for this evening. What I've done, some of the thick branches that were lying around when I arrived at site has now, some of them, only about 30% of what there was, has been added to the fire. The reason being, if you remember earlier on in the video, the big branch that was just lying there, I decided to use. It wasn't what I originally intended, so I thought, okay, rather than hunt around and get a big 10-inch thick piece that I was planning on doing, I didn't think it was going to last the night. So what I've decided to do now, as I said, I've added it to it. A lot of it was damp and stuff, but it's only just kicked into life. Now, it was laying dormant for probably about half an hour. It's been sat there, and you can hear all the sap sizzling, indicating that it's not dry. So eventually it would have got hot enough and dry enough, and it would have combusted. And all I'd done was I just used my windbreak for my stove to give it some fan, and it only took about 6 or 7 swipes, and it was enough oxygen to really kick that bad boy into life. Now I am going to sleep this evening without the blizzard bag because I just don't think it's necessary. So obviously the cold time of the evening would be around 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, whether there's sufficient heat around that time will dictate whether or not I use the bag at that point. So I'm going to turn in, I don't know, within half an hour or so, and see how I'll get on. But there's no need for that blizzard bag, not with that. That is very, very hot. And looking down, yep, it's 36 degrees C in here, which is insane. Yeah, that really is kicking out some heat, serious. So I think that's what it's all about, really. You know, making a decision whether or not to leave it and it would have died out in about 3 hours, I guess, or to bank it up to give me a nice warm fire for the rest of the night. Well, this is the view probably about 5 feet from the other side of the fire. As you can see, the logs I told you about, I've just weaved it in and out of the supports. Incidentally, the paracord is still on there. It hasn't burnt through, which is a surprise, but welcome nonetheless. And you can see the basher in the background there, retaining all of the heat. Fantastic. Obviously, this isn't stealth camping, but it will keep you alive. The temperature is dropping. It's -3 now outside here, so to be in there in around 30 degrees is bliss. Well, this is a new purchase. All it is it's a British Army issue sleep mat. Now, brand new, around £20. I did have a second-hand one, and I gave it away to Scott, Wessex Blades, to give it to his daughter. So a 3/4 length. I mean, you know, your feet can hang off the end. I'm using my smock as a pillow, and buying brand new surplus is a big difference to second-hand stuff, because the second-hand stuff, you really can't tell the life that it's actually had. So bit the bullet, paid another £5 or £6 more, and got myself a nice brand new one, and it's staying fully inflated, and it's really keeping me warm off of the floor, because the floor is bloody freezing and it's dangerous. Incidentally, this is the blizzard bag I was telling you about. It's still sealed up in its packet. Now, originally when I got this, it was vacuum sealed. It's got air in there now, so one for the future. I might have to get that shrunk down again to save a bit of space. But yeah, I will use this one day. I might have to just use it without a fire, because at the moment there's just no need for it. I'll actually cook in the bag if I got into this now. Well, I'm right back at the edge of my setup now, and it's just too hot. It really is. Oh, but mate, do you know what? I'd rather be too hot than too cold. I've been cold too many times I care to mention in the past, and it's not good. So if you can get yourself warm any way that you can, the better. The most important thing is to keep your core body temperature at a regulated rate, around 37 degrees C. If you can keep it there, you're doing well. Well, guess what? Yep, the fire went out. That was around between 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So I opened the bag up and jumped in. Look at, oh, it's gone down to 0. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this inside the bag to see what the temperature is inside. Right, here it is after 10 minutes. 15 degrees, that actually works. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go one stage further in trying a candle inside here to see how better that gets. Well, it's hard to film in here, but it's definitely getting nice and warm. So yeah, it really does work. But it is a good idea to keep your head zipped outside of the bag. You don't want carbon monoxide inside the bag. Boo! Morning, people. I survived, and that's the main thing, yeah? That is what this video was all about, really. It got down to -3, very humid, damp. So, to summarise, if I didn't have this at all, and all I'd done was I just laid out on a ground sheet with nothing else, after that fire had gone out,
I would have probably died. Yeah, serious stuff this. No, make no bones about it, mate. -3, with just clothes on, with no insulation off the ground, no bag to keep your body heat from escaping, you will become hypothermic and lose consciousness and never wake up again. So there you go. Important, yeah. It's well, check it out, guys. It's -1. The fire has done its bit. I think what I might have done wrong was make the two supports too tight, because it hasn't naturally dropped down to burn the top. I still think that wouldn't have be burning now. I think that would have been burnt out. So I think it's the material you use. Use a real thick piece of wood, hardwood preferable. You can use pine. Pine will spit, so go careful with sparks and the rest of it. So yeah, what's it like in a big wide yard then? That's the view from my basher. Well, I've got to show you this on this bag. Right, this area around here is all reinforced, and this cord and this I don't know what you call it, close fastener, well, I don't know, is very, very good indeed. Now, if this was to be cheaply made, this could fray and it could fail, and that really could spell the difference between life and death, because what you're doing is you are getting all of this around your chin and the lower part of your face, and it's got to stay there. It's got to be well done. If that comes open and you're asleep and your body heat escapes, you're losing a lot of efficiency out of your bag. Now, the bag itself is very cleverly done. It traps air in between the outside and the inside, making it absolutely insulated. So you've got a layer of trapped air. So in effect, it's like bubble wrap without the pop. And to be honest, it didn't rustle as much as I thought. It wasn't as noisy as I thought, and I did actually get a few hours sleep in it. So, a fantastic bit of kit in my book. It really, really is. Yep, it's not comfortable. You're not going to be toastily warm, but you're going to be a lot better off than if you had nothing at all. And it's a lot better than just one of those little foil blankets. Yep, it's nice and cold, and we have had a bit of frost, as you can see, but it's not too bad, not too bad at all. Always good to have a nice little walk first thing in the morning, just to make sure everything's working. And yeah, God, it's bloody cold. Yeah, I think kids have definitely been around. Oh, this wasn't here before. It's a bloody right bloody state. Look at the state of it. Fancy going for a swim? Probably not the best of ideas. Wow. Well, on my little walk right near where I'm camping is litter, and we all know how we feel about people who drop litter, especially in beautiful woodland. Look at it, it's everywhere. But this done wedding, check this out in the water. It looks like a little folding
seat just thrown in the bloody river. Honestly, these people. Well, these lower boots, they're tough. Man, that is friggin' hot down there, and they're not melting or smouldering at all. Friggin' hell, man, these boots are bloody tough. So it's important to do this to get the most of the hot embers out of the way. So when we do put the water over it, it actually gets to the root of the heat rather than just spilling it all over the place. Wow, I could put some dirt, put my shirt on top of that, that'd be lovely and warm. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I can't believe it, it's actually getting frigging colder. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort that little fire pit out, pack my stuff and go home. My lovely little granddaughter will be around soon, and I just love spending quality time with her rather than I could stay out here until, I don't know, midday, 1 o'clock. But no, I want to get back and wish my little granddaughter. Right, as I'm tidying up, I'm just going to be going through a few items of kit with you, because you always ask about kit. The Bushcrafter Cookery 7 has really held up to the task. It's been very humid and damp out here, and as you can see on the edge, there's no rust whatsoever. I've got no oil with me. There's just a tiny bit at the top there, but that's going to get sorted out in about an hour's time when I get in. But the edge is fan-bloody-tastic. And I keep saying this, and I'm always going to keep saying it, you do get what you pay for. These are expensive, but these, if looked after, will outlive me, no problem at all. The traction and the coating is second to none. Man, that stuff is friggin' built to last. None of that's going to be coming off anytime soon. In fact, all I'm wanting to do is the secondary bevel along here. I would like to get smooth, just to make those really fine shaving tasks a lot easier, because as you can see, the grip on there is incredible. But that is that's a wicked blade. And I'll tell you what, tops knives, I think this is the 3rd or 4th tops knife I own, and every single one of them has been tough as hell. You've even got the bow drill divot in there. Spot on. The knife, fantastic. Sheath, I've had a bit of an accident, I'll be honest. When I went to put the knife back in, these little flaps kept getting in the way a lot, and it got damaged. That's the only drawback. So I'm going to have to repair and modify this to make it easy for me to get on with. Now my little survival kit's in there, stays in there. It's carried very well, hasn't been a problem. So yeah, it's 10 out of 10 apart from the mishap with the strap there. Obviously it's my fault, you know. If you're putting a knife in and out a lot, don't be impatient, just do it correctly. I obviously rushed, wasn't looking 100%, and it just sliced it. It just goes to show how freaking sharp these things are as well. So that's just a little quick field test really, nothing serious, but it stood up to multiple tasks very well indeed. And you guys are going to be seeing a lot more of this knife in the future, especially when I have a go at shelter building. That's going to come into its own then. Right, find an old dead knackered tree, and all you can do is jab it in there. Ideally, what you need to do is put some ground sheet or covering down there,
hold the knife like this, and especially this area on here, you just shave. All of your shavings on there. Right, this is that inflatable mat I was telling you about. And you can see by the size, it's probably, yeah, it's from the floor to just below my rib cage. But obviously you're going to want this up to your chin, down to your shin, or one up to your head, to your knees. Most important piece you need to keep insulated is your core body, top half. The legs are less important, but you can slide this around to get this just how you want. As I say, these were around about £20 upwards for brand new ones. If you are going to be thinking of buying an inflating mat to keep you warm off of the floor, my advice is try to get new or as new as you can. If you do get a second-hand one, grade 2 possibly, there's a good chance that it will be punctured somewhere, and unless you know what you're doing or you've got the right kit to repair it effectively, not just a bloody puncture repair kit, but effectively, you could come unstuck. And for something this important to keep you insulated off the ground, it really is worth getting new stuff, trust me. This, as I say, was £20 upwards. I was very tempted to get one of those Thermarests, Neo X Light or something, but they're well over £100, and they're so thin in comparison to this. I did have my concerns. I don't know to actually sleep on one, test it out, because I do hard use my kit. The reason I get all this kit is a good reason. I'm going to want to rely on it one day. I don't want to be getting lesser tough materials, if that makes sense. So I always try and get military issue, especially the British stuff. And the valve on there, obviously you get brand new, you're not going to have any cock-ups with the valve at all. Sorted, eh? What you're going to do, fold it in half this way and then roll it up, obviously with this on the end, compressing it. You won't believe how small this goes, it's insane. There it is, look at that. That's bonkers, isn't it? That will go into your side rocket pouch of your BRECON with tons of other kit. I could actually get that and my LIFESAVER bottle in one side. Easy. Look at that. It really is nice. I actually got a second-hand one a while ago. Although it's in quite good condition, but it's nowhere near as well beneficial as this. I didn't have to re-inflate it at all. No, it was great. It done exactly what it should do, and you get two big elasticated straps to go around it. The NSN number is on there, if you can see that. That's it. Right. Piss pots. Very important. I remember when I started my channel and I first went out, quite a few times actually, and it always happens, you know, no matter when you have a drink before you go to bed, whether it's just before or an hour or two before, it's always around 3 o'clock in the morning you've got to get up for a pee. Now the amount of times I've done wild camps and it's been raining, probably about 70% of the time I go out it bloody rains. And now and again I do sleep with my boots off, just for comfort, and it's ridiculous. For those of you who haven't tried using a pee bottle, it can be any shape or size you want. I got this one from Amazon. because it's tailor built for it. It's got a rubberized seal in there. It's quite tough, and it's built for a purpose. So what was I saying? Yeah, that's right. 3 o'clock in the morning, you're very, very tired, but you have to go for a pee. You can't just leave it. So I used to get up out of my sleeping bag. As soon as I got out of my sleeping bag, it was freezing cold everywhere. It's raining. I've got my socks on. Rather than fanny around, put my boots on because I'm busting for a pee. Used to walk, I don't know, 10 feet from my shelter, walking on all of the brambles and the stones and the sharp twigs, etc. Standing there, having a pee, getting soaking wet. All you have to do is pop this in your sleeping bag when you go to bed. When you fancy a pee, unscrew it, chuck the little chap in there and have a tinkle. Before you know it, sorted. And you could probably do 2 or 3 refills of this throughout the course of a night time. And I did have someone on Instagram really slating me for taking this out. Well, for anyone else who thinks it's a silly idea, you carry on getting up, go for a pee, but take it from me, a pee bottle is fan-bloody-tastic, mate. People laugh, and of course it's a taboo, but look.
Well, last night I was using this to do some of the filming, the TN36x Night. Now, this has got to be the brightest torch I've ever used in my life, and it really does turn night into day, and I'm not exaggerating. Well, you saw on the video, that's just absolutely bonkers. This is going to change the quality of my videos of a night time 100%. The batteries in there are rechargeable, so every time I come out doing stuff like this, they're going to be fully charged. So hopefully the more videos I do of a night time in the future, I'll be taking this along. 6,500 and something lumens. It's absolutely freaking bonkers. Even in daytime, look. Insane.
Right, just a little quick overview of the backpack I've been using. It's made by a company called Berghaus. Now, I've used Berghaus kit for many years now, and I find it to be very good quality, very well made. And if you get the right backpack with the right sort of weight load in there, very comfortable as well. Now, these side pouches, as I mentioned earlier, these are 10 litre pouches, 10 litre, 10 litre. You can unzip them and zip them together, and each one has its own shoulder strap attached to it. So you zip these two together, creating a 20 litre day pack, or a skirmish pack, whatever you want to call it. And they're all YKK strong tough zips as well, which I like. Incidentally, I bought this out of my own money. I'm not being paid by anyone. I never get paid by anyone to do reviews. Sometimes I get to keep the stuff, sometimes I send it back. This is mine. I bought it out of my own money after my own research, and to be honest, I'm in love with it. I really am. This padded section here with the gap in the middle, it's great when your back sweats. I mean, these, it's so well designed. I'm not shitting you, it really bloody is a great design. The material is so tough, the stitching is 100% all over, and as I keep saying, you do get what you pay for. Yes, it's a lot of money, but this is going to last 30-40 years plus. No problem at all. No problem at all. And in fact, a lot of the military guys use some of the Berghaus packs because they are better than the UK infantry Bergens. Now, Molly on the front, I'm not really a fan of Molly. I don't like putting pouches on the outside of my kit. Never have done, never will. They'll either get caught on something, they'll fall off, you'll lose it.
just not worth the risk. So I always keep it nice, plain and simple. Now incidentally, I'm not really a big fan of straps flapping around everywhere, so I just tend to tuck them through some of the molly pieces there. But what I am after, I'm after some sort of green tape which I can roll these up and tape them, because all these pieces on the end flapping around everywhere, it's a nightmare. So that's my next port of call. I'm going to get hold of some green tape to stop the flappies. The zips as well, I'm in love with the zips. This is, if anyone's interested, it's the Centurio 30, as in a 30 litre pack in the middle. It's pretty much quite the same as the Berghaus Monroe, but this one you've got the options of adding side pouches. 20 litres, guys, you know what you can put in 20 litres, all sorts of lovely stuff. So I've got a feeling this is going to overtake my Hazard 4 pack, because I'm just love carrying it, you know. It's very, very comfortable indeed, and obviously tough as hell. Well, there's the blizzard bag. It's long enough, I'll tell you what, I got in there no problems at all. What I said earlier about the insulation, if you can look on there, it's like a honeycomb, or sorry, a diamond type spacing in the material. It's very cleverly done actually. I'm quite impressed with how they designed this. There's air between the silver and the green. It just keeps the insulation properties there. And of course you've got a little clear cover to allow light in if you really want to get inside there. But for the size it packs down, and for the importance of what the tasks are designed for, I don't think it should be overlooked. I mean, it probably saved my life last night, if I'm honest. If I slept there as I did without anything, I might have got into trouble. So I'm going to turn this inside out, put as much water as I can carry, and then put that fire pit out now. Well, it's just inside out, as you can see, and I had my boots on in here last night just to give it a proper test, because big boots with they're relatively new as well, so all of the tread lines are going to be relatively sharp still. There's no damage at all, not one single tear on there. I think if I use this with any lesser, you know, just cheapo £5 bag, moving around in the night, that could have possibly ripped, allowing cold air in and your body heat escaping. But mate, that's why you pay a little bit more money for. Yeah, it's very well made actually. I can't see one single rip. I'm really looking, but there's nothing at all. It's bloody sturdy material as well. Oh. It's great to stand in freezing cold bloody water in your boots. No water getting in at all, and your feet are still warm. Go figure. Right. That's heavy. Wow, that's heavy, and I dragged that probably about 25 feet, 30 feet to get here, and there's no holes. These bags are tough, baby. Right, let's put that fire out.
big mud pies. Yeah, I think the fire's out. We'll let that soak in a bit and get the old leaf litter on that to cover it up. I hate it when I see scorch marks on the ground. No bloody need for it, it's just freaking laziness. God man, that bag was heavy. Damn, there's a lot of water in there. Right, I think our work here is done. Right, that's the where the fire pit was there, and that's where I was sleeping there. As always, leave no trace. Very important, because we don't want to find it as we did earlier with those bloody Muppets. That's my Bergen there with all my kit in there, and that's us. Well, that's the end of that one. Had a nice time actually, learnt a lot, which is always a good thing. It was important to test the knife and the blizzard bag, and another outing with the old backpack. Mini Bergen, I think we can call it. It's 50 litres, it's a pretty good size for overnighters, you know. It certainly made me think about the blizzard bag, you know. As a backup emergency, absolutely, always carry it in a kit. It doesn't weigh nothing, to be honest, so you don't even know you're carrying it. So if you can find some space in your Bergen, I suggest get it in there. I mean, I've tested it, and I've dragged it all the way across the bloody floor, full of water, well not full of water, but about a third full of water, weighed a ton, and poured it all over the fire. I had a candle going on in there, you know, it got down to sub-zero, and it's like brand new. It's just ridiculous. A very well made piece of kit. I think, yeah, Armour Cockroach has a few of these, so if you are interested in getting one of them blizzard bags, go and check them out. It's always good to help our brothers in the community rather than just spunk it on eBay or whatever. So that's cool. Yeah, the Bushcrafter Cookery 7 knife, love it. The sheath, I'm going to have to do some rethinking about the sheath. I might need to get some poppers on there. I'm going to get that home, give it a good clean and an oil, because I don't want rust setting in there, because it is high carbon steel. You do have to look after your blades when they're high carbon steel. Now, everything's cleared away, leave no trace, as we saw earlier. It's time for me to see my lovely, beautiful, funny granddaughter. So, what else can I say? Thanks for watching, guys. Stay funky.